All right. Hopefully we are live right now. Audio looks good. Are we ever going to run, Jay? I don't know, man. It's not looking so hot right now. What's going on, family? How's everybody doing tonight? Broke Ape, what's going on? Yuka, Jamie, 1796 Patriot. Thanks for joining me, guys. I just popped in real quick. We were going to go live last night. I went on, did an audio visual check. Thank you to everyone who came by yesterday and helped me with that. But then, I don't know what time it was. The 2-year treasury bonds jumped. And I decided to stay off until I figured out what was going on, because that looked kind of crazy. I don't know if anybody else saw that. And in a second here, I'll wait till some more people come in, give some shout outs, some haze to everybody who's here. Milwaukee's in the house. Mark, what's going on, man? Yeah, did anyone else see that last night? A glitch, they say. It was corrected moments later. But yeah, that was quite interesting. I know other people must have seen it, or at least people talking about it. I also saw we lost an F-35 fighter jet. You can't make this shit up. You really can't make this stuff up. I mean, we are living in cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs land. It really is nutty. How do you lose an $80 million fighter jet? You think they can keep track of shares? Oh, boy. All right, we got some people in here now. Let's say what's up. Yeah, let me know if you're in the chat right now so I can give you a shout out. I know we're coming on kind of late, but again, that whole thing last night. Another thing is when I came on Saturday night, I wasn't done reading the entire filing, and I felt like I wasn't, prepared enough to come on and talk to you guys, but I think I have a better understanding of it now. Some of it seems, I don't know. We can talk about some of that. The strike I want to talk about a little bit. That's important to just at least keep our eyes on and how that's moving along. There's kind of mixed reviews coming back. Some of these shows went back to work already, cross picket lines, which, that could be seen as a motivation for others to go back to work if they see the industry is moving on without them. To be honest with you, as far as the writers go, I don't know what they're basing these huge increases on some of this for. The last 2 years of writing, given as a whole, I mean, if that's what you're basing this off, it's a little different than the auto workers, right? Which is another thing I want to talk about, because that came up in the proposal, right? They were talking about, for the next shareholders meeting, a bump up for the salary for some of the members of the board. And I'm going to play you guys a quick clip of what GM CEO said when they asked her about compensation and where they're at in their strike. They're talking about a $5 billion loss. Again, guys, with the strike thing, I don't know how long this continues to go on. I don't know how much it's going to affect us in the immediate future. I don't think it's something that is at top of mind right now. Let's just say, right? We probably have, we know we have at least built out to a certain time. Again, we're going on, past 100 days now, 3 or 4 months. I know they're saying that the strike for the auto workers doesn't cost $5 billion. Now, of course, that won't be the same for the film industry, but it's still a lot of money. 1796 Patriot says the F-35 is in Ukraine. I heard the rumors that I heard were South Carolina and possibly Cuba. But why the pilot ejected, I haven't had an explanation for that. I mean, the government is really putting out a lost and found for an F-35 jet in 2023. This is happening right before our very eyes. All right, let's say hey to some people. who are in the chat. Some shout outs here. We got Broke Ape. How you doing tonight? Yuka Free. Jamie's in the house. 1796 Patriot. So Hodla Hodlington, I'm going to throw up his comment. SU Ray, what's up, man? So Hodla says, let's be smart this time and vote opposite like I did last time because the story was off. Always defensive, calling everyone shills for questioning them. Again, guys, I'm going to say this as emphatically as possible. Vote what is in your best interest. If you want to go along with what the board is recommending, that's fine. But do what is best for you. Reading the proposal is not exciting, right? But I think at least give it a shot. Try to understand what they're talking about, what they're asking for, why they are trying to sway votes in a certain way, right? Get an aspect of where they're coming from. And again, in just going over it in detail now for the last, 3 days, some of the stuff in there I'm not thrilled about. And some of the stuff seems par for the course as far as the developing relationship between retail investors and the boards of the companies they're invested in. But in my best day, I should never be giving you influence or telling you which way to vote, right? That is ultimately up to you. This is your brokerage account. This is your money. And, I'm just here to try to pass along information. And, that's what I'm going to keep trying to do and speak about facts and reality and what we can prove. Again, the price action doesn't make sense to me right now. There's a lot of reasons I think behind that. And, we can argue whether this is complete just manipulation or the market really values the company at this, price, which I don't believe. But I've been proven wrong judging by the price right now of AMC. What did we close at today? $7.80. I mean, we are right in that, still between that $7 and $9 mark right now. Someone asked the other night, what do I see first, 5 or 10? And, I swayed towards 10. I think I'll still stick with that. SU Ray is in the house. Brandon, how you doing tonight? Mark is in the house from Milwaukee. Andrew, how you doing tonight? Highway Frog, days off my ass. Nice to catch you live. Thanks for coming by, man. Appreciate you. Bob Gogan, how you doing tonight? Sahadlo, we said, what's up? Push him with powder. Blue-eyed Playboy, I'm the only one that liked the stream. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Yuka says, Mass, next week, Creator comes out September 29th. 2 + 9 = 11. That shit is missing. Sus. Agreed. Thanks for hitting the like, guys. If you remember to hit the like when you come in, that would be awesome. Pushman Powder says people need their jobs to be. Pushman Powder says people need jobs. Let them be replaced. Thomas Beast, what's up, Mass? Thomas, hey, by the way, I did reach out to Weeble after me and you talked. And I will send you an email but basically, they were not going to give me any detailed information about your account, obviously, but they wouldn't even give me like a basic breakdown. So, I got Prometheus in the house. What's going on, Prometheus? Will Hub Farm says, hey, Mass, hope all is well. You too, my friend. Hope all is well with you. Glad we're jumping on here and getting to talk a little bit. Thomas B. Yeah, I'll have to talk to you after this. Honestly, I tried to, at least for the last 48 hours, unplug myself as much as I could from anyone's influence about anything, just because I wanted to read all of the amendments and proposals for this vote that's coming up, get a good understanding of it, and know what I'm talking about if someone's asking me something. But again, it is a lot of, business lingo, and they word things very carefully in there. If you notice, if anyone else has read over it, they go pretty in depth with some of this stuff. And, there's something, again, the DEI thing, I'm not a fan of. I understand trying to make the board as inclusive as possible and that you want to give everyone a shot to be in positions of power. But ultimately, I want them to be hiring the best person for the job. You know, I'm glad. And, they talked about this after, I think it was whichever proposal it was. I think one kind of went into that. But they talked about it down further in the proposal about some of the things and how they're trying to manage the DEI thing. Again, was not one of, I don't know whose top concern that was. Apparently, they said shareholders came to them with this, and this is something that needed to be addressed. And so they added 2 females to the board to make the split 33%. And again, I'm all down with, making everything fair, but equity and equality are 2 different words. Look them up. When we're talking about again, why this is necessary in 2023, this is something every company is going to have to deal with. So it's not just AMC, right? It's not just our company that we are this heavily invested in that is going through these procedural things and making these kind of changes. All right, let me get back to saying what's up. Richard, how you doing tonight? Richard says, we're at war. The elites are being exposed. I'm a simple man. Buy and hold and let this play out. The price ain't real. I'm with you, man. I'm still holding my shares. I'll tell you, when I saw the chart, when I saw the 2-year last night make that bounce up over 5, what was it, like 5.5? Al says, hire the best person, stop the silliness. Yeah, man, I really feel as though if those 2 women they just put on the board aren't the best qualified for their jobs, I got an issue with that. And maybe some of you out there don't, but I do. We're talking about, hard-earned money that we're investing into companies and people making decisions based off DEI. That is not a road you want to go down when you are a company just filling spots in order to check boxes. I got a problem with that. Again, I want things to be fair, but I want them based on merit, right? I want the best person you could possibly put in that job to make sure they're doing the best possible job they can do for that company. SU Ray says, no opinion, just facts. I'll decide my vote. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. Everyone should do that. And again, try to take a look at the filing. It's not an easy read. And, there are guys out there. Tony broke it down, I think, really well. He did a pretty good job explaining most of the basics. And, he seems to feel that this is, something that's happening more general around other companies. I saw some of the numbers break down like 200 to 80 that most of these proposals have passed. But again, you got to do what's best for you. And I don't like when there are people out there pushing in one direction or another or nudging. I feel like maybe I've even been guilty of doing that. So I definitely don't want to push anyone in any direction. I'm just saying, for me, some of these issues are not my top issues that I'm concerned about right now as a shareholder. But these are the realities of how companies are changing with ESG scores and doing this DEI thing. As long as at the top you have BlackRock and Virtu and State Street and all these guys who are pulling the levers, you're going to see this kind of stuff happening. It's going to continue. My thing is now, and I'm probably going to catch a lot of flack for saying this, but I feel like either we have to get on board with the CEO and his decisions going forward and, back him on these things and agree with him on the things that he thinks are best for the company. Or, maybe we should be thinking about other plays, right? And just with the shares we have, wait to see how the market plays out. Again, I don't think any help is coming from any of the regulatory bodies or the SEC or anyone actually doing their job to make sure that the playing field is level. That those days, I think, and even waiting for that at this point is silliness. And we're going to continue to see, horse shit in the market and shenanigans because nobody's putting a stop to it. Right? That's just a fact. No one cares. No one on the 1%, and I'll put Adam Aaron in this category, cares, I don't think, too much about what's going on in the market. Should he be taking a more keen look and interest into this? What manipulation is going on behind his company? I think he knows that there's shit going on, and he's doing what he can to shore up the books right now. Again, I don't agree with every move he's made, but at this point, I've already got my account smashed. So it's like ride or die time. And again, I'll say anything that I purchase going forward is going to be on the table to take profits. That original investment will be there for the day that we see jumps like we did in June and January of 2021. I will have those shares ready. But going forward, looking at the market and the conditions, everything that's going on, the strike, I think it's important just to keep in mind what is happening, what is going on, that these will have implications in the future for the film industry. And this isn't a scare tactic or trying to bring fear into anyone, but they have been writing now for 100 and something days, or longer than that. Actually, it's been way longer than that. We might be coming up on 200 days almost by now. That's a lot of time to have no material. A lot of people out of work. And I just saw, well, let's pull this up first, because I want to talk about the compensation. I just saw an interview the other day. Let me finish saying hey to some people in the chat, and then we'll watch the video. Own the float. Mike, what's going on, man? How you doing tonight? Carl J is in the house. Dan the pilot, good to see you, man. Ed Backwater, Al Domrick, Highway Frog, I think I got. Kryptonian, what's going on? Kevin W. Hey, Mass just jumped in from Canada. That shit's everywhere. We're all bleeding. I'm a small investor. I went from 250 to 26 shares. So I'm scared. Hang in there, man. We all went down on our shares. We all lost those shares. I'm right with you in the same boat, man. Dougie, how you doing tonight? JT Wisco, what's up, my friend? Good to see you, bro. You work is in the house. He says, this is The Big Short, gentlemen, only in reverse. We are in the part of the movie right before the market collapsed. Man, I was thinking that last night, that's for sure. The fraud was so much that every character in the movie was beyond stunned. Man, that'd be nice. Did I say hey to Prometheus? I hope I did. Domrick says we won't have enough retail votes anyways. Yeah, it's something I heard people talking about, right? That we don't have that. And again, I think that's true for the market. It's got to jump in when we see the institutions, the FOMO. I think there's another run in us. I make no mistake about it. I think this stock is heavily undervalued right now. I mean, not based off book value, but I think the sentiment in the market, if we can just get back to work, we'll be all right. Highway Frog says deal with debt and she's all over. Prometheus, what's going on, man? I did get you. All right, cool. I'll make sure I get you, my brother. Yeah, we all got taken down big time, right? With that reverse. It wasn't fun. But, I'm glad we got rid of 8, man. That was just like this nagging thing. And, it was going to be used and abused. I feel like the longer that it hung around out there, I think the longer it would have been taken advantage of to, the most it can. And that, that didn't really change too much after the reverse split. We still got run down. But again, we got run down even before there was announcement of dilution. So what was the reason behind that? Kryptonian says all the voting is to get retail out of the opportunity of ever on the stock again. I mean, it almost retail out of the market. The way they're reacting and have acted to everything that's happened so far. And you know they don't want to lose retail. But we get treated like we're a joke when we bring up legitimate issues that are going on in the market. Just starting with payment for order flow, the simplest, easiest thing that you could ban, it wouldn't take that long. Hasn't even really been discussed, right? Not even on the table. Hasn't been brought up to Gary Gensler. In the last 2 times he was called in front of Congress, wasn't even mentioned. All right, I'm going to throw on the interview with the CEO just because we're talking about the raises for AMC boards. And here's what the GM CEO had to say when they asked her about it.
The union ending asking for a 40% wage increase over 4 years. They're asking for that in part because they say CEOs like yourself, leading the big three, are making those kind of pay increases over the course of the last 4 years. You've seen a 34% pay increase in your salary. You make almost $30 million. Why should your workers not get the same type of pay increases that you're getting leading the company?
Well, if you look at compensation, my compensation, 92% of it is based on performance of the company. I think one of the strong aspects of the way our compensation for our represented employees is designed is not only are we putting a 20% increase on the table, we have profit sharing. So when the company does well, everyone does well. And for the last several years, that's resulted in record profit sharing for our represented employees. And I think you have to look at the whole compensation package, not only 20% increase in gross wage, but also the profit sharing aspect of it, world-class health care, and there's several other features. So we think we're a competitive offer on the table, and that's why we want to get back there and get this done.
But if you're getting a 34% pay increase over 4 years and you're offering 20% to employees right now, do you think that's fair?
Well, I think when you look at the overall structure and the fact that 92% is based on performance, and you look at what we've been doing of sharing in the profitability when the company does well, I think we've got a very compelling offer on the table, and that's the focus I have right now. Mm-hmm.
That was her. That was the CEO talking about pay raises. Now, they've asked for, Tom Rick says, if we go by performance, AA will be negative. So they're asking for a cut work week by 8 hours. They're asking for a lot of things, right? I don't know how much similarity there is between the Rivers and the CEO, or not the Rivers and the CEO, but the production companies. I don't know how much we're talking about there, but this seems, and again, the share value, there's so many things to be taken into consideration when we're talking about the pay raises here. But again, I don't think that there's any reason that he needs to be bumped. That's the one thing I want to comment on tonight about the pay raise. I just, everything else in the proposal, I think you should look at and take away what you will from it and vote the way, like I said, that's best for you. But as far as a pay raise goes, I know he's been around the world and the country and meeting with retail investors. He's done a lot more than a lot of the more normal CEOs out there of companies. I get all that, but I feel like he's well compensated for that already. And if he really wants to get more compensation, then the shares that he's already allotted, he can bring the value of those up and allow himself to get paid more. Because I'd like to see the value of those come up as well, right? Bob says AA made $20 million last year. Yeah. Yep. And we finally turned a profit this quarter. And I think he was compensated well for everything up to this point so far. I don't think anyone's undercutting Adam Aaron's salary. I mean, I don't know how much the guy is worth, but in the grand scheme of things, I think he's going to be okay if we don't ask for a raise. And again, he can do that through making the company better and increasing the price of the shares that he already is being allotted right now through his pay, right? GD Shenanigans says he deserves nothing extra. Asking for right now is a slap in the face. Yeah, I do feel that way. I do feel that way. I agree with you, man. If I was the CEO, I would have just taken that off the table. I think I would have said, you know what? This is not the right time to be approaching retail, asking for something else in return. I think we've given plenty. Bad timing. After we just got absolutely decimated on the price action, to come out and ask for a raise when we just finally turned a profitable quarter. After how long have we been invested in this stock? What, 10 months, some of us? Baldy 385 says 95% of AA's net worth came in the last 3 years. Carl J says disagree. AMC is still in business and not bankrupt. Yep, he's done a good job with that. Saving us from bankruptcy. I think bankruptcy is pretty much off the table right now, as long as this strike gets resolved relatively soon. And there is some news on that front, and it's not the best, but I'll share it with you guys just so you know what's going on. All right. Hopefully you guys will be able to see this. Do a screen share. All right, so we have an article here on the 14th of September. This is from magazine. Make sure you guys can see it. All right, California Senate approves unemployment pay for striking workers. California Senate voted on Thursday unemployment benefits to workers who are on strike. Bill passed with a 27-12 vote. The Writers Guild of America and SAG-AFTRA have each expressed support for the bill. If approved by Gavin Newsom, the bill would take effect on January 1st. So we're talking about 3 months here. That's actually going to kick in for them. Now they've already run out of the funds that have been accumulated through the union. So I don't know what's going to happen in this. I'm sure that's something that will be in the actual bill. Dozens of unions have lined up in support of the bill, while the California Chamber of Commerce and more than 130 business groups have expressed opposition. Only New York and New Jersey currently extend unemployment benefits to workers on strike. The California bill, authored by Senator Anthony Portatino, would grant benefits once a strike had lasted 2 weeks. It says here, this is the most crazy thing I've ever seen. Said this is a labor dispute, not an unemployment dispute. This is a horrible bill. This is a bad idea. The opponents, who have argued that unemployment is designed for workers who lose their jobs, not those who are withholding their labor as a bargaining strategy. The chamber has suggested that the bill may conflict with federal law, which requires that claimants are able to work, available to work, and actively seeking work. So, it says here, I'm ready and able to work. Fisher said, I'm desperate to work. Talks about the bill passing. Oh, here's some more information. Newsom was asked about the bill in an interview with Politico on Tuesday. While he did not take a position, he did note that the state's unemployment insurance program already owes $18 billion to the federal government. One has to be cautious about that before you enter into a conversation about expanding its utilization, he said. A similar bill filled in the state Senate following 2 votes short of passage. So there it is. It's on the governor's desk. And if it gets approved, it just means they would be able to collect benefits for a longer time, allow them to go on strike a little longer. So it might prolong this action that we see taken. Tom Rick says, hold up your arm for better reception. Jan is in the house. Jana, how you doing tonight? Good to see you. Highway Frog says, we have the power to make change. That doesn't mean we don't believe in AA, but we believe in AMC. Yeah, man. Again, I'm on board and with AA. I think he's doing a lot of good things. He's getting a lot of opposition, and we're having a lot of issues with the market itself, with the transparency of the market, with the regulators doing their job, with Hollywood right now on strike, and on top of that, for the last year or so, writing some terrible stuff that's lost $900 million, at least for Disney. I'm going to pull this up. This is from when the actors first went on strike. It's not letting me pull it up. Well, there's an article here back from September 16th, from July of this year. They were talking about Iger and Disney, how they've been the arch nemesis of the actors and writers. Disney CEO Bob Iger says the writers and actors are not being realistic with the strikes. It's very disturbing to me. Yeah, this is an older article. I wish I had something newer from Bob Iger right now. Jana says, I think AA doesn't need a raise. We are suffering and need a bit more. Pouncing. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Jen, I agree. I think he's going to be just fine without a raise. I think right now the shareholders are looking for, they're looking for direction from the CEO. And I think institutions out there and other retail investors are looking to see what the CEO does. What moves is he going to make? Now, we can either support those moves wholeheartedly. We can vote with what's going to be best for us when it comes to that shareholders meeting. But I think backing the CEO when he makes good moves is important. And, calling him out when things don't go right, not always AA's fault. I can't always blame Adam Aaron for everything that happens, right? There's only so much. But I believe at this price, we've been knocked down so hard. We need to either back this guy 100%. Again, as long as he continues to show that he is making improvements to the company, I don't know how much he can do on the other side with the manipulation, the transparency, the shorts. I don't know how much power he has to fix that part. All I know is he has complete control or partial complete control over AMC as far as its day-to-day operations and how the company turns a buck. And that's what I want to focus on. And, that's where I got to be paying attention to what he's doing. Again, in the proposal, starting off with the DEI stuff, not a fan. I don't know how much money they're sinking into DEI right now, but there's other places we could be putting that. Jana says the room looks cool. I'm in like a tiny little closet, Jana, but thank you. Thank you. Highway Frog says, Mass, we will plow through. I'm ready, man. I'm ready for a bump any day now. Again, when does it become attractive to institutions, to other retail investors out there, to day traders, right? We need a lot of things. We need short interest to keep going up. The options chain, there's all kinds of things that are going to reflect on this price action going forward that we really need to be looking on, I think, on a short-term basis. Knowing that there's a chance for an astronomical squeeze, if we have some type of black swan event or something comes down that's going to be game changer, there's some type of merger or acquisition, whatever it is, to be prepared for that, but also be prepared for the short-term effects of how the strike is going to have an impact on the theater. When are we going to start seeing the effects of that? Probably won't be for a while, right? But the good thing is Adam Aaron has the ability now to raise more capital. I don't want him to do it through dilution, but the option is there. They're not in trouble going bankrupt anymore. I feel like we've completely taken that off the table. Baldy385 says wine is not the way, just like the NFT crap. So the way I feel with the wine is, I feel like anywhere they can take advantage of high profit margins, they should do it. And if that includes being able to somehow market wine to theater goers in AMC theaters, then do it. I don't see any. I think that is a low risk, high reward investment. We're not talking about that you need a ton of startup money to go out there and subcontract a winery to slap an AMC label on it and be able to sell it at high cost at a theater with a huge markup, right? And like Jenna says, ditto on wine, beer, vodka, good, right? All those things. I mean, they'll definitely be willing to help with that, right? It's not just we're not making a donation to AMC. We don't even have to go out and buy shares, right? Just go out and support the company by doing something that you're already going to do, especially if you're an adult over 21 out, hopefully. That's just an easy way to turn a buck, and you already have all of the infrastructure, all of the plumbing for an operation like that is already set up because you got the candy coming there and the popcorn and everything else. So now you're just adding another product to your supply chain that has already been set up for decades, right? I would have thought that the popcorn endeavor probably would have needed more startup than adding wine to the theaters already. Carl J says they wouldn't start a winery. No, I don't think so, Carl J. No, I think they would subcontract out to probably one of the bigger wine producers out there, right? Maybe on the cheaper side to slap an AMC label on the wine. And, the markup on alcohol is pretty good. That's how restaurants make their money, right? The food has a very small markup. It's the alcohol where you have the house takes the biggest chunks, right? Domrick says, what's next? Bud Light? I don't think they're going to go down the road with that name. John Doe says, where's the bottom for AMC? John, it's got to be around here somewhere. I mean, we wiped out, half of the market cap? We held the $2 billion and something market cap for a year, right? I don't know. The company's in a better financial position than it was in 2022, where we have more debt. And that's, he hasn't really even talked about that, right? He keeps pushing off the debt. I still think it's kind of a big deal having all that debt hanging over our head, but Adam Aaron doesn't seem to address it so much. Mike says, call it ape pissed. Kevin says, if we get an awesome quarter and AA announces he wiped out $2 billion in debt, that would be an end of short thesis and a boom investors start coming in. Where are we getting the $2 billion from, Kevin? I'd love to see that. Wipe out $2 billion in debt. We'd have to do some more dilution. 24 The Money says, market cap in AMC. Yeah. Should have been close to 4. Now it's 1.2. Makes no sense. Yeah, we held that for almost, was it 4? Yeah, AMC and Ape. Thank you, 24 The Money. Not $2 billion, because that would have been just AMC. Yeah, $4 billion. Down to 1.2. Makes no sense. And the company's in the best financial position it's been in since, again, we got to kind of curve that, right? Because of the debt. Doug says AMC equals Aaron Musk Cohen. That was something we talked about the other night too, about GameStop and the strike for the video games. I don't know how many of you guys are still holding GME out there. I still am. Put a 1 in the chat if you're still holding GME. Curious how many people. We got almost 100 people on right now. I wonder how many of you guys have GME shares. Trying to find the article. Yeah, here it is. I'll pull it up. It's from Deadline. Let me try and share the screen with you guys. Oh, wow. Yeah. All right. So here it is. Again, this isn't to try and scare anyone, but what's going on in the market? A lot of you guys are still holding. Wow. So almost. Yeah. All right. Let's see if this came up. Hopefully you guys can see the article now. There we go. All right. So from the 14th, which was just a couple days ago, SAG after President Frank urges members to approve strike authorization against video game companies from September 16th. In a new video, Drescher notes that working for a strike authorization doesn't necessarily mean there will be a strike. Rather, it authorizes the board to call a strike if needed. And as we talked about the other night, the Guild's first and only strike was for the gaming companies, lasted 183 days back in 2016, 2017. This is Twitter here, interactive media. But, this could be an issue. And again, with GME, man, I had such high expectations for GME. I thought really they were going to develop and just completely change the gaming landscape when Ryan Cohen came in. And it seems like, say what you will about Adam Aaron and the board over at AMC, but GME's had turnover. I don't know what their long-term plan is. I don't know, if brick and mortar is really the future that we think it is. I think retail distribution, I know a lot of the GME guys have talked about, the retail distribution to houses directly from the warehouse. That's all fine and dandy, but what all those retail locations, man, you're talking about. And, they've cut a lot of fat away from the company and they've shored up the books really well, right? They got a lot of cash, but they've had to sacrifice a lot for that. From everything I've heard online, not from GME investors so much, but from GME customers, from gamers, from GameStop channels, future prior managers, and it's a lot of bad news. It seems like a lot of the cuts I had to make have really affected the customer service and that whole aspect of like what it was for GameStop. I don't know if that's a long-term, what the long-term strategy is right now for Cohen and GME. They could be working on something huge. I have no idea, but so far, I haven't seen the way that they're going to disrupt the gaming industry, especially when I see an article coming out. Well, let me see if I can pull it up. All right, let me see if I can pull this up on the screen. And this is way down the road we're talking, but not way down the road. This is from Level Up, and it is from September 8th, 2023. Hopefully you guys can see that up on the screen right now. Okay. The rise of digital formats has demonstrated a shift in consumption patterns and has raised formats in video games. While gaming is not expected to completely abandon media such as discs, cartridges, or cards, their presence may decrease as sales percentages are dramatically declining. Of course, this also affects business models such as retail stores, and recently, the CEO of GameStop spoke about what could be done to prevent the decline. Ryan Cohen, CEO of the video game and entertainment retail chain GameStop, stirred up the internet by suggesting that physical disk drives should be mandatory in consoles. It all started with a tweet from Mark Gurman, a Bloomberg correspondent in Europe, regarding the order given to Apple to include a mandatory USB charger with its iPhone devices, establishing a legal framework for a consumer-friendly usage standard. And then it shows the tweet here from Ryan Cohen, who says, big win for consumers. Consumers have always invested their hard-earned money into physical video games. Disk drives should be required on consoles. Now, of course, he's going to say, right, in recent years, Microsoft took a significant step towards digital formats with the release of Xbox One, all digital with the Xbox Series S, a console that can only run digital games of a disk drive. Sony is not immune to this shift. In their case, PlayStation 5 disk drive that can run digital games and is consequently cheaper. Furthermore, there are rumors that the next might make the disk drive optional, allowing users to remove it from the hardware as they please. Therefore, Cohen's idea suggests a similar situation with authorities could force companies to have consoles with disk drives only if the market just. However, there have been no such movement so far, and there are options available for those either of the two formats. So yeah, I don't know. I would think there's some way that GameStop can take advantage of this situation and use the IP and the name to make some big change in the gaming industry. I just haven't really seen it yet. And I kind of thought that GameStop was, once Cohen came on, that they were going to lean towards something of that sort, some type of disruptor in the market. And that still could be coming. I don't know. GME until after 2030. Yuka, you think that's when they'll finally go diskless? I did see a lot of people speaking on some forums, gamers, talking about, that they like the ability of having a separate drive, a disk drive, at least that you be able to hook up. So it seems like that is going to stay that way for the foreseeable future, right? I'm not sure about that. I don't know. What do you think, chat? Seems like it's going to be a little while be everything go completely, and maybe we'll never see it go completely diskless. But will we need 2,000 retail locations to be able to handle the turnover in games and the resale of games, hard copies? Maybe there's a future in that. They have something going with their business model now that will take advantage of that. Yeah, if you guys remember to hit the like button when you come in, that would be awesome. 1796 Patriot says, remember the good old days when everyone was on the same page and got along? Yeah, man. Yeah. And, that's something I've been trying to express tonight. Like, I think we either need to be on board with the CEO. And at this point, for me, at this price and how far my complete, portfolio is taking a beating, I just got to put my faith that he's going to continue to make the company profitable. And at some point, I'm going to turn a profit if we don't have a momentous squeeze. Now, I still think that's possible. I just am tired of speculating on when it's going to happen or what thing will cause it or any of that, right? There are plenty of channels out there of guys who are speculating about and have been forever about price targets and brackets, and the DTCC just held up the squeeze. I mean, you guys know the headlines. But I think the same general message, 1796 Patriot, is that we're all patriots. We all love the country. We hate what's going on to it. The way that the authorities have just completely abandoned retail investors and their constituents, right? And we want to fight back against that. We want the market to be fair and more transparent. We want AMC to do well, and we would love a massive short squeeze. I think all those things were still on the same page. I wish we were more close together on how we feel really about is Adam Aaron a snake, or is he trying to help the company and bring it back from the brink of bankruptcy. I think we need to try to come more together on that thing. I think that is the biggest dividing thing that we have going on right now is the Adam Aaron problem, right? Whether he is with us, for us, against us, for the company. And, in my opinion, again, he's not doing this to have retail squeeze AMC stock. Would he like to see that? I'm sure he would. But is that his main concern right now? I don't think so. Are synthetic shares his main concern right now? Clearly not. So, I think getting back to reality and what Adam Aaron is doing and back the company is the most that we can do right now, and continue to put pressure on the SEC and your Congress people who keep Gary Gensler as head of the SEC. Now, they've asked for his removal. Nothing's happened so far. We'll see. But that's how, if you really want to keep up some pressure, stay on your Congress people. Let them know you're not happy with the job the SEC has done, the job Gary Gensler has done, any of them. But I think if we can come back together and, unite under the same core principles that we all expected or that we all had when we came into this play, we would be stronger. Unfortunately, their way of conquering and dividing has worked perfectly. I mean, they've been able to split the community basically in half, right? Pam, how you doing tonight? Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, I see, and Tony De Niro. How you guys all doing tonight? Come by. I see some more of my mods in the chat. How are you doing, ladies? And Tony, happy birthday to Scarlett. I saw you guys were out doing some good things. Pam, it's good to see you. And Lucy. Yeah, we were just talking about, getting back on the same page. 1796 Patriot was like, remember the good old days when we didn't have any division? And, it's tough right now. So many people have so many different emotions when it comes to AMC and the CEO and the stock. And, there's so many different things that we could possibly, and that they have used to divide us. Getting back to those core principles, trying to get in the same mindset as we were back in, June 2021. It's not the easiest thing, especially with all the shit that's happened to us. And the price, getting absolutely annihilated since the reverse split. And even before, because they absolutely wiped out the market cap of this company for no good reason. Yeah, I understand the books aren't the best right now, and we are $5 billion in debt, but there's a lot of companies out there who are carrying a ton of debt right now that aren't turning a profit. So I really want to get that conversation off the table. Keep talking. Oh, well, it's terrible. The books are terrible. Yes, but again, retail owns 90% of the float, if not more. And there's, again, 90 million companies out there with worse numbers and are in bigger trouble right now of bankruptcy than AMC. So I don't understand the price action. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Jana, thank you, honey. Jana says, and thank you for supporting, as always. You're the best. She says, 100% same page. Together, support the movement and company. I don't believe AA is the villain, seriously. Yeah. I think we are stronger the more we are on the same page. And it's, it's not easy. I get it. And it's hard to identify with someone like Adam Aaron, right? It's hard to identify with a guy who is so, he's run all these major companies. He's made a lot of money in his life. He's very successful. And so, I think he hears the plea of retail. But again, he is the CEO of AMC. If he gets to short squeeze while also saving the company, then I think he would be all about that, right? It would be a great story. But at the end of the day, he is not out to help retail. He really is out to make AMC a better profitable company. And at the end of the day, that's what's going to affect the price action and the market sentiment about the stock and the company. Tony, you didn't hit the like button? God damn it. What's the matter with you? Badonk, how you doing tonight? Badonky says, Mass, what are your Russell Brand story? So I talked about this a little bit the other night. I've seen so many people out there get slandered. We can go all the way back to the cross players. There have been so many people who have had their lives wrecked by false accusations. And I'm not saying that Russell Brand is guilty or he is innocent. What I do find suspicious is anytime I see, whether it's a male or female, approaching the media before they go to parties, that sends up red flags for me. So, again, and Russell Brand is innocent until proven guilty in this country. I've seen some of the language that's been used to describe some of the actions that took place. I don't know that they sound rapey to me. They sound more like somebody made some bad decisions maybe in their personal life on certain nights under the influence, or maybe not. I don't know. But again, innocent until proven guilty. I've seen way too many people get destroyed from false accusations. And, it does seem off coordinated. And they just showed all the papers coming out of London the other day, and every front page had a picture of Russell Brand. And, it seems very coordinated to me. This is the smear campaign. Nancy Pelosi's talked about this. She's talked about it with her political rivals about using the wrap-up smear, right? You smear, and you say actually, and I don't know. But again, I'm going to give the man the benefit of the doubt right now. He's guilty until proven innocent in this country. If he goes on trial at some point, maybe we'll find out some new things. But again, it gives me red flags when I see individuals going to the media with a story, something as horrific and shocking as RAPE is. Yeah, I'm very suspicious. Very suspicious. Yeah, Lucy, right? Seems like that's again bad decision making. Maybe some of it was a little rough. Who knows? I don't know the details. I just know as soon as Russell Brand started spitting and letting people know what's really going on up there. I mean, when he went on Bill Maher, he made some statements that were let's just say unauthorized. I don't know if HBO really wanted him out there broadcasting what he said. I mean, and every bit of it was true. Every bit of what he said was true. That our mainstream media has been captured, that we used gain of function to make a monster and then forced everyone to take an experimental medicine to cure something our tax dollars paid for. It's almost like a form of fascism, right? The government in cahoots with business, with corporations. Tony says, next thing you know, they'll go after Andrew Tate. Oh, wait, never mind. Yeah, already too late. Yeah, they got Tate already. Tucker, Joe Rogan, go right down the list, right? And they're not going to come after the people that are speaking, who are running the points. They're not going to come after those people, right? People telling the truth. That's how you know people are telling the truth nowadays. Coming after you, they're speaking facts. If they're trying to smear you, there's a reason why. Because you must be getting exposed. You must be. Carl says she wants a check. And I'm sure he doesn't want to be dealing with this right now. Like, who wants Who wants to wake up and have that kind of thing splashed all over the front page of every major newspaper across the city of London? Like, that must be just awful. And so, for these accusations, man, if these aren't true, these women should go to prison. And if they are true, then Russell Brand should go to prison. But Donkey says Chuck Schumer says the CIA has 6 ways to Sunday to get back at you. Did he say that? Did he really say that? Said the quiet part out loud, but Donkey. He also said you don't have to wear a suit anymore in the halls of Congress, which is nice. Why is it that 500 and something members of Congress are going to bend to the will of one guy in Pennsylvania who doesn't want to dress up to work in DC? Why is that? Why are they changing the rules for him? What has John Fetterman done in the halls of Congress that's so great to allow him to disrupt the dress code we've had in the country since 1776? Doug says, who cares? It looks terrible on the world. It looks terrible on the world stage. We look like buffoons. Everyone's so concerned about our foreign policy right now. When you got a senator coming into Congress in a hoodie and a sweatshirt, shows no respect for the position that he's holding or the document that he's supposed to be upheld up. That you can't bother to put a suit on. I know it doesn't seem like a big deal. And it might not be in the. I mean, let's just forget about his mental issues right now and his reactions to some of the things that have happened the last day. But show a little respect for the office that you hold, right? Kevin says, I'm in Mennonite country in Canada. Your FBI just showed up because I watched YouTube, LOL. I'm just waiting for that day. But I'm small enough that they don't even notice that I'm here. I could say probably a lot of things on here and they would never even hint. It's so small. Thank God. And honestly, I'm okay with it this way. I'm okay having a conversation with some like-minded people or people who disagree with me and figuring out solutions to things, right? The platform doesn't need to be huge. It's almost like you're asking for trouble when you're going that way. Oh, Doug says I meant when I hear the allegations against Russell, I think, who cares? Gotcha. Sorry about that, Doug. I thought you meant about the dress code. I gotcha. Dominic says the Cosby effect, wait 40 years to cry rape. Damn it. Carl says Kevin, suspicious activity reported. Gregory James, how you doing tonight? I see you in the chat now. I said what's up to Badonk. See if there's anybody else that we just got on here. Cancel Bubble, how you doing tonight? Cancel Bubble says, why come out against Brand now? Yeah, it's a good question, man, right? The timing does seem a little strange to me. Brian C., what's going on, man? How you doing? Good to see you, brother. Thanks for coming by and hanging out. I want to play this for you guys real quick. I find this fascinating. We're getting into a little bit of politics right now, so I'm going to play this for you. This is down from the southern border on, I want to say Friday. I saw this clip. This is pretty wild. Brian, I'm good, man. Hanging in there, bro. Hanging in there. All right, here we go. I'm trying to put this up to share with you guys. And hopefully we don't have any lag here when I'm playing it. This is Bill Malugin from Fox News. He's reporting down the southern border. And this was pretty wild. All right, hopefully we get volume here.
Hey, Sandro, Border Patrol simply can't keep up with the sheer volume of people crossing our border illegally right now. Every day this they've had more than 7,000 apprehensions of illegal immigrants. And we want to show you what these mass releases look like. Take a look at this video out of San Diego yesterday afternoon. What you're looking at is 3 unmarked white Border Patrol buses. They pull up and they start releasing several hundred illegal immigrants to city streets and sidewalks in San Diego across from a transit terminal. People were on this bus from as far away as China and Pakistan. And keep in mind, these buses are not from Texas. They're not Greg Abbott's buses. These are the Biden administration's buses. This is Border Patrol mass releasing people. You can see handfuls of them are standing around not knowing where they are, what to do, where to go next. And there was a remarkable exchange between one migrant and a Border Patrol agent as he asked the agent, "Hey, am I okay to travel to Chicago?" And the agent says, "Yep, you're good to go." Take a listen.
You're free to go anywhere you want. You're free to.
Okay, it's no problem if I go to Chicago.
Anywhere you want. You're free to.
And these mass releases also taking place in Border Patrol's Tucson sector. We shot this video in Sierra Vista, Arizona yesterday. A Guatemalan family dropped off by Border Patrol in a Dollar Tree parking lot, just a random store parking lot. They didn't know where they were.
If I had to say what my second biggest concern was after, it would be this. The amount of people that streamed in the country in the last year. I don't know how this ends. Because they continue to come. It does. Devil May Rage. Yeah. It's really pissing me off. It's really pissing me off because it's driving people off the streets. It's driving people out of retail from going and shopping in brick and mortar places. It's probably having an effect right now on the fucking cinema. I bet, if I had to guess. You know, maybe not that much yet, but it's early. These people are still being accommodated. There's still some money left in some cities' budgets, although they're making cuts now at, 15%? They're talking about in New York. But here's what's left over when they leave. And this is something the news isn't going to show you. But this is pretty disgusting as well. Let me pull this up. Because you won't see this on mainstream media. But this piss you off. As much, if not even more. Hopefully we don't laugh.
Greenpeace, you did this. American environmentalists, you guys did this. ¿De dónde son? Where are you from? Vietnam. Wow. There you go, Vietnam. Vietnam?
Yes.
Wow. You speak English? Little? Okay. Look at this. This is what you guys did. This is paradise. This is the jungle destination, world destination. Where are you from? Vietnam. Look at this, guys. Trash, as you can see. Trash, 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 trash.
They're going to start coming through. We've seen some of them, right? The people in the back of trucks that have died from overheating. This is just a national disgrace. And and Devil May Rage is right on point, man. This shit pisses me off to no end. No one's doing anything about it, man. It is crazy. Carl J says, used to be a nice river. Now look, yeah. Devil May Rage, yeah. Small island, Lampedusa. They just got invaded, right? But that's been going on for years now. Years, Europe's been dealing with this. This isn't a new problem. This was happening all over the Greek and Italian islands since Libya was destabilized during the Obama years, right? There has been a mass push of migration into Europe. That is now happening on our southern border. It has all taken place, or a majority of it has taken place in the last 2 years. You're talking about 7 million people that we know of. Brian C says, I was up in Orange County at the Sand Sports Super Show this past weekend. How was it up there? Pam says, horrible. Yeah, man, it's sad. It really is sad. Yeah, I did see Lampedusa. And it's almost all mostly fighting age male immigrants. Yep. There was video of the Darien Gap from the other day, which is in between Panama. I don't know if I pulled it. No, but I do have this, though, which was interesting. Amazing. The gall of these people is something else, man. So this just happened a few days ago in Massachusetts. Hang on. Hopefully you guys can see this. Should be up on the screen right now. There we go. Come on. All right.
Importantly, if you have an extra room or suite, most importantly, have an extra room or suite in your home, please consider hosting a family. Safe housing and shelter is our most pressing need. Become a sponsor family. You can contact the Brazilian Worker Center for more information on how you can step up if you're willing to have an additional family be part of your family. If you're a local official, a college president, a business owner, or a faith leader with an available building or space in your community, please work with us to offer it as a shelter site. If you're a social service provider, please consider becoming an emergency assistance homeless shelter provider. Our resources are stretched thin there as well. And if you're a hotel or a motel owner, consider opening it up for emergency assistance. If you're a landlord or a property owner, we can use you too and connect you with service providers to help transition families into permanent housing. Everyone has something they can offer. Most importantly,
the fact that they can even ask people, knowing what's going on in the economy right now, understanding inflation, how high rent is, that you can't purchase a house. They want people to start moving in unvetted, unvaccinated, illegal migrants into people's homes. Did you ever think you would see this? Seriously. Stephen Guardado, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Gregory, Brian C, I said hey to. Make sure I get everybody in here. Devil May Rage. Floyd, what's going on, man? Good to see you. How you doing tonight, my friend? Vinny Cool. Vinny says elected leaders have failed us. None of this will end well. How does this end? Do we have a solution? I'm just curious. Anybody out there? How does this end? I don't think this is going to end well. What happens when there is no more funding for these people and they're thrown out onto the streets? What are they going to do? How are they going to react? Are they going to turn on the people who brought them here, who voted for these policies? I don't know. I know in Europe they're turning on the people. All the people who were open arms policies, and we need to bring in as many as we can. And granted, I get that a lot of the Western countries stirred up shit in other places. I know we've been meddling down in the Central and Southern America for decades now, right? I get that the CIA's had coups down there, but that's not the American people doing that. That is the government doing that. We weren't asking for those wars. We weren't asking for those coups, right? But it's falling, but the responsibility now is falling on the shoulders of the American people, when the government is the one who conjured all this up. This was not an issue coming into 2021. Justice for all, what's going on, man? How you doing tonight? Terrell says revolution. Something, man. I don't know. I don't know. It seems like either they want to create complete chaos so that we can have a real police state. I'm not talking about, Chauvins. I'm talking about a real police state, like federal police locking us down. Because I don't know if they can use climate change or COVID anymore to do that. So how else do they accomplish that? If there's mass chaos like there were during the riots in 2020, because we have 7 million illegals who now no longer have any opportunity because they were promised all these things, and hey, we're sanctuary cities and we love everybody and we take anybody in, and now they're getting pushed out from any of the benefits they were receiving. And what kind of stress did that put on the welfare system itself for all the people who are already getting food stamps or already getting rent vouchers? What kind of stress is that going to put on the welfare system just in the short term? Justice for all, how you doing tonight, man? Good to see you. Martin, good to see you in the chat. Terrell, I said hey to. Siren Muscle says we just passed 33 trillion in debt, FYI. Yeah, where's that post I put up on Twitter today? Crazy. It was a chart. I think I might have taken it off my already. Yeah, I might have. But it was a chart just compared to the GDP. And where does it end, man? It's continuing, continuing, and continuing. Justice for all says enough talk, time for action. Yeah, going back to what I was saying. Is it going to be the American people that are going to be out in the streets trying to defend against some type of backlash from this migrant situation? Or will that be the excuse to roll in a federal police force to lock people down? I don't know. I'm not sure how right now the left can stop the runaway train that is Trump. They continue to impede on the man and try to take him out, and his popularity just grows and the polling numbers go up. Everything is working in the inverse for the left. You got to think right now that they are nervous that there would be repercussions for all of the political witch hunt and the demonizing that they've done based off false accusations. And the man just gets more and more popular. I don't know. I don't know how they stop Trump right now. If they can't impeach him, they can't indict him. I don't know. Devil May Rage says, Mash, you got to listen to Yuri Bezmenov talk about active measures. It's commie tactics, play-by-play, what is occurring. Find on YouTube and play. Yeah, Gregory, I saw at the G20 in India this week. They were just talking about digital currencies, right? Oh, it's coming. Believe me, it's coming. Floyd says, strong in the force tonight. Jeffrey, what's going on, man? How you doing, Rocha? Yuri Bezmenov. Okay, man. I'll look into him. Commie tactics. And how? So Massachusetts, Minnesota, there's a few states right now that are giving out legal IDs to illegal immigrants. How is that going to have an impact on the voting in 2024? How many more states are going to continue to do that? You know what I'm afraid of? I'm afraid that you're going to get citizens out at voting stations checking. That's what I don't want to see, right? But no one is going to, they're not going to tighten up the laws to make it. Look, if they made it harder to vote, they know there's a reason why they don't want to. There's a reason why the Democrats don't want to have any restrictions on voting. That's very clear, right? They've had a hard trouble winning fair and square since 2016. And I know Joe Biden got the most votes ever in history for any president, right? 81 million. He won the popular vote by far. And you can tell, right? When you drive around, you see all the Biden stuff, right? You know, you see the bumper stickers, you see the hats, the shirts, the flags, the lawn signs. Obviously, we know there's 81 million strong out there. And that election was fair and square, right? To the YouTube gods. But I don't see them being able to win playing fairly. Look at the numbers right now. I mean, if Trump is leading with the popular vote, then he automatically has the Electoral College. You can just forget about it. I've seen a lot of people talking about what he said the other night in his interview with, what's her name? I can't think of her name right now. But a lot of people talking about his stance on abortion and what he said about the 15 weeks and what DeSantis did down in Florida. And I know that has a lot of real Christian conservatives upset about what he said. He's playing politics right now. And I think when he was talking about DeSantis, he meant politically that was a big mistake. Yeah, I think Trump right now is trying to win over the independents. Look, the whole reason that Roe versus Wade is going back to that it's going to be able to go back to the states now, I think is a good thing, right? And that's how it should stay. I don't think there should be any federal enforcement. I want the federal government as much out of my business as possible. I really do. I really do. But you're not going to win. You can't win the election by just being, stone cold on every issue. I think there has to be, some amount of give and take here. We are a country that is pretty divided right now, just like the AMC community is, right? But it's even more significant in the country, I think, than in our smaller community. Dominic says they're going to take away the Trump button in the booth. That's how they could win. Kevin says, in Canada, we were afraid of Trump. We are way more afraid. Hold on. I got to catch up in the chat here. Kevin says, in Canada, we were afraid of Trump. We are more afraid of Joe and Trudeau. North America was based on leaving the Netherlands and creating a new world. Where did that ideal go 200 years ago? Good question, Kevin. Yeah, good question. Justice for All says, I want all government out of my business. Me too, man. I saw someone put a post the other day that said, You know, we're working in the inverse right now. The government knows everything about its constituents, and we are blinded on what's going on behind closed doors with them. It should be the complete opposite, right? We should know everything that's going on in the halls of Congress and behind closed doors. Everything that is going on in their lives, we should know about. They should know shit about us. Vin says, no offense, but is abortion the biggest issue right now? I think, Vin, abortion is what why we didn't see a red wave in 2022. I think that Roe versus Wade threw everyone into such a frenzy, and the independents, I think they were able to swerve or steer people in that direction because of that. Again, it's one of the only things the left has to run on. What else can they run on? They can't run on the economy. They can't run on gas prices. They can't run on inflation. They can't run on, what are they going to run on? The only two things they can run on right now, besides abortion, is, well, I don't know. And hate. Abortion and hate. It's all they can run on. What else can they run on? There is nothing else this administration could possibly brag about right now. He's had how many years now? 2.5 years to get this country back together from, the debacle that they caused back in 2020. And we are way worse off than we ever were. Highway Frog says politicians are not gods. None of them are. Floyd says economy. Get the hell out of here. Oh, man. Atlas says, much like the dark pools and family resources. Atlas, how you doing tonight? Good to see you, man. Justice for All says, you want an abortion? Fine. You pay for it out of pocket, not my insurance support or tax support. Yeah, again, if that's something you don't want to fund, like, we can leave this to the states. And, we have the ability, well, luckily still, we have the ability to move around without being molested by the federal government. I don't know how long that's going to continue to last. But right now, you still have the ability to move around, right? And if you are finding that someone in a different state is doing things more allocated to what are, or more associated to your core values, luckily we have the ability to go move there, right? But that is one thing that makes us a little more unique than other countries. I think it's an issue that, again, we can have a discussion about. At the end of the day, there's some things that I'm hardcore against. I guess I'm not as conservative as maybe I thought I was when I was younger. But again, the bodily autonomy thing goes for the vaccines as well. Like, if we're going to call that, then we got to call the same BS when it comes to the vaccines. Right? Hands off, my body, my choice. Like, you can't intertwine those two things and not make them separate issues. They are. You have to treat both the same. Bodily autonomy, I think, has to go across the board, or else you can't run on that issue. Floyd says Republicans will dominate. The people are waking up. I mean, the polling numbers are, right now, Floyd, seems like, that people are waking up and realizing that, Donald Trump is not part of the swamp, right? He's just not. And I think why they despise him so much, I really do. And the fact that he is not pro-war. I mean, no other candidate out there will stop talking about the Russian war with Ukraine. It's nonstop. Every time they are asked about it, they are just asking for more and more and more. I know you guys have seen it out there, them pulling people off the streets, conscripts, throwing them into vans. I've seen it in Lviv and in Kyiv. They want to turn this into a never-ending war, and all the neocons in D.C. are voting for it. Zelensky's back in D.C. right now. Apparently, he's not going to speak in front of Congress, but he's back here for more money again. Like, when is enough enough? When? At what point are someone in Congress going to step up and say, and I hope this happens. I know Chip Roy, a couple other Republicans out there have talked about shutting down the government. I say shut it the fuck down. They're not doing anything at the border anyway. So what's the point? We need to aid the federal agents. They're overrun at the border. Like, maybe it's time to shut the government down. You guys are doing a piss poor job. Kevin says, "Masked, you get molested walking around the USA." We're supposed to be able to travel. We're supposed to be able to travel unmolested throughout the country, Kevin. I believe that's the proper terminology. Badonki says Hunter was just trying to lead the country in gun control by throwing his gun away first. Justice for All says, tell me one thing the government does well. Spend our money uselessly. Again, Backyard Boogie, what's going on, man? Says Trump 24, baby. Something's got to change. We can't go on with this. We can't go on with this anymore. No one piss me off, Pam. I'm good. I'm good. But Justice for All, nothing. Right now, expect wasting our money. And I'm definitely a little concerned, and I talked about this in the live streams last week, right? About 2024. Let's forget about the writer strike, but just the country in general. What are we going to see? How are they going to replicate the conditions we had in 2020 in order to keep this man out of office again when the polling numbers are where they are right now? And that makes me afraid for the entire market. AMC, yeah, of course, because it's a brick and mortar place where people have to go. You got to get in your car. You got to drive there. You got to feel safe when you go there. If there's some type of mass outbreak like that again in 2024 or 2024, sorry. If there's some type of mass rioting like that, again, to keep us locked down, I don't know. Again, I don't know what they're going to use, but I don't trust them. I don't trust this administration. I do not trust this Congress. I have very little faith in the Supreme Court or the judicial system at all. So what shenanigans, what tactics will they use? I don't know. But it scares me to think of it. Dominic says we need to stop being divided. We are not Republican or Democrat. We are Americans. 100% agree with you, bro. Yeah, I wish there was an American party and we had a leader of it that, didn't, that ran third party and could actually win, right? Yeah, it sucks that these two categories, but there's really nowhere else to put a majority of us, right? We either kind of understand and our values line up with this side or this side. There's not too much in between. And, again, do I think Donald Trump is the most moral, Christian, conservative, Republican ever? No, of course not. Like, he's got major character flaws. I get all that, right? I get it. But to tell me Joe Biden's any better, you are fucking tripping. You are tripping. That guy's a pathological liar. 24/7, the man's lying. Trump didn't do that. Trump admitted probably to too much. Trump was the one who wanted NATO to pay its fair share, right? And saying, hey, look, America's done footing the bill for all of these, international problems we got going on here and propping up all these countries. When is Europe going to kick in? He even talks about that we were in Syria and that we only stayed in the third of the country where the oil was. He's too honest, and that's why they hate him. But he wants to get us out of the war. And for me right now, there's a couple things that concern me. The immigration policy concerns me. The manipulation in the stock market certainly concerns me. Our international standing in World War III and nuclear war, I'm fearful of. America getting into direct conflict with Russia because Ukraine can no longer send men into this meat grinder because they're just simply out of men. And that the politicians in DC right now are actually spewing that rhetoric saying, hey, this may get him down to him over there, and we might have to put boots on the ground. That scares me. That the people are even using this kind of language right now and sabering with 2 nuclear powers. Again, this is everything they told us that Trump was going to do. Everything they told us that the madman Trump, who would have his finger on the button, we've never been closer to all-out annihilation than we are right now. Right now. No, but Donkey, I haven't talked about that. But there are a lot of W's happening. Mainstream media is not talking about it, but with Paxton in Texas, the AG getting off on all those charges, the 3 guys in the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping were all acquitted on all charges because basically the FBI completely made up that entire show. I mean, that is just amazing that they did that. All these things going on right now, everyone's out there on the left screaming that we're losing our democracy is in danger. Like, our democracy, we don't have it right now. It's in danger if they stay in power any longer. And that goes for a majority of them, on the left and right. The Republicans, most of them are just as bad as the Democrats. They are no better. The third world in the southern hemisphere and the foothills of the Himalayas with Xi Jinping. That's all I'm going to say about that. I don't know about you, but I'm going to bed. No, I'm just kidding. We'll stay on for another 20 minutes. Oh, man. With Xi Jinping in the Himalayas. They got to put those 2 sound bites together. No, justice for all. I know we're a constitutional republic, but we're losing our democracy, right? The democratic process is being eroded. I know we're a constitutional republic. Again, jailing your politicians. This is something that I never thought we would see in America, but it's happening. Or attempting to jail your political opponents because you can't win fair and square. Thank you for reminding me, justice for all. I used to have the documents back here to remind me, but they're in storage right now. Justice for all says, Backyard Boogie says, or even Gavin Newsom would work for that man tomorrow, talking about Trump. He gets things done, works through the BS. Trump is the man. He's under a ton of pressure right now, and these guys are really trying to nail him. And he's not giving up. I got to give him some credit for that. The fact that he keeps sticking his neck out there, and taking the beating that he is, no one will give him a fair shot in the media to actually sit down and interview. And then when he does do an interview, they just try to make shit up and lie about him during it. He's got to, pull out papers to fact check people. It's just, and the actual guy who's in charge of the country is walking around in a fucking daze, on vacation 90% of the time. I mean, it's incredible what we're witnessing right now. Carl J says, to the republic for which it stands. Right on, right on. Sarah, Joe Biden knew exactly what is going to happen. Have you noticed since day one with him? His speech endings are protect our troops instead of God bless America. He knew since day one, war. I mean, that could be where we're headed. Siren Muscle. Would they put boots on the ground in Ukraine in 2023, in 2024 to do exactly what they're doing in Ukraine right now, which is Zelensky's not having an election? He told Congress he needs $5 billion if they want Ukraine to have an election. So would they bring us to the brink of nuclear war and actually fighting on the front lines against Russian troops in Ukraine to try to suspend elections or do something nuts. I don't know. Highway Frog says we could go on all night mass directed energy weapons. All right. I'm going to pull back. I don't want to go too conspiratorial. Yeah, man, I wouldn't put that past Joe Biden, this administration, especially since Joe Biden's not really pulling the strings right now, right? So it's the neocons in Washington who are really running things. And the question is, how bad do they want to stay in power? Will they do anything to keep it? We're going to find out. We're about to find out. 2024 is going to set the tone. Really, I mean, I talk about the fourth turning and the seasons of, in history, the cycles that we go through. No doubt about it. This is a flashpoint and a turning in the history of this country. We're either going one way or the other based off maybe the next 4 to 6 years. Justice for All said, does someone Pernute Newsom should be thrown out of chat immediately? No, I don't believe so. Someone, Cracker Mac says he is just California. Aching to be president. How that man could ever get elected president, but it could happen, right? As they say on The View, he's good looking, right? He's in shape. Carl J says, any Cali ape knows Newsom isn't good. Kevin W says, U.S.'s statute on two parties is power hungry over two versus more new ideas. It all comes to the same corrupt. Yeah. Truth. It sucks that we all get stuck into one of these two categories, right? It's sad. I just don't know. I keep trying to think to myself or play out scenarios in my head, like how are they going to be able to do this? As we get closer and closer and closer to the election, and the numbers keep coming back as the way they are coming back right now, they got to be moving things behind the scenes to prepare for this. And there's a whole bunch of a whole hornet's nest got kicked up when Carrie Lake was able to have those live stream cameras from her election. Now, say what you want about Carrie Lake in the Arizona election, but it looks like there was a lot of illegal things going on in the middle of the night from the videos I've seen. I don't know. I can't tell if what they are saying is happening in the video is truly happening, but if they are correct about what's going on, there was major fucking fraud in that election. And can that be done on a wider basis? I think it already has. And I think it can be implied again. The question becomes, how do we curve the damage that will be done by that? Domrick says, oh shit, they're talking politics, release the aliens. It's going to be something. I just don't know what. I hope it's good for AMC. I hope it drives people to the movies. Justice for All says there was fraud all across this country. Watch 2000 Mules. Yeah, I've seen it, man. I've seen it. Again, just a few years ago, they made a documentary on HBO. I believe it was called Kill Switch. And they went into a lot of the voting machines that are still being used in 2023 across the country and showed how they could be interfered with, how you could get them onto the internet, and be able to do all kinds of manipulation to the machines. And we've done nothing to fix that yet. And that could be an issue, right? I mean, if there is a general consensus or a broad opinion that there's fraudulent, nefarious things being going on in the 2024 election, boy, oh boy, I don't know. Like if we just see, and again, guys, I don't know if it's even going to be a Biden-Harris ticket. because now we've got we got Hunter with the gun charges, right? That doesn't look good. The whole history with him and Burisma doesn't look good. Him firing the prosecutor, none of that looks good. They have started into the inquiry for articles of impeachment. The media is turning on Joe Biden. CNN is coming out, and this isn't something they normally do, so pay attention to this. CNN's coming out now and calling him a liar and saying that he's a pathological liar. They're admitting to, and there's no way that that's allowed to happen without the people in charge allowing it to. So they want you to know that he's lying. Now, whether that's to try to slip Kamala into his space, I don't know. But again, her approval rating is, I think, the worst of any vice president ever. She also had the lowest approval rating of any of the candidates running in 2020. Cracker Mac says, no doubt it was stolen in election. They'll try it again. I cannot say that, Cracker Mac, being on YouTube. Of course, the election here in the United States was fair and balanced. And as far as Google is concerned, Joe Biden got the most votes ever in history. And we got to go with that line. Sad that we have to go with that line. Have to do the same thing with the vaccine, right? Pam says, sorry, Matt, still sick and took some meds. I'm going to get some sleep. Love y'all. Love you too, Pam. Feel better. I hope you're doing all right. Get some rest, darling. If you guys remember to hit the like button when you come in, that would be awesome. Thank you, Badonki, for reminding me. Yuka says, the machines have gathered an army, and as I speak, that army is drawing nearer to our home. Oh, boy. Highway Frog says, we're dealing with some god-awful old sons of bitches. Yeah. Yeah, agreed. Let me pull this up. Hang on one second. You won't see this on the news either. But I found this clip. I figured I'd bookmark it and show you guys. Going back to the illegal immigration problem. I forgot I had this clip. You probably won't see this on mainstream.
Democrats did this. It's Kevin McCarthy. What are you doing to stop it? What do you make of this, man?
Dude, this could get violent in a heartbeat, man. And they said it is emptied out. It's emptied out. A lot of the buses have already left. There were hundreds and hundreds more people earlier today. This is insane. I've never seen anything like this. It's just every month growing to a whole new level.
Yeah. What do you? So you're Panamanian. What do you make? But American. What do you make of what
right
Joe
now,
Biden and Secretary
Panama
Marcos
is taking the brunt of open border policy in the United States. Every one of these people is being given a free meal 3 times a day by Panama at Panama's expense, and it's swelling every month to numbers that are so chaotic and out of control. And Panama's just stuck in the middle of it all. They're just stuck here in the middle of the whole thing.
Crazy. Crazy. That's what's heading our way. And no one stopped, and there's no way to stop it. There's no way to stop it. Carl says all these people are going to need food, clothing, shelter. Where's it all coming from? I don't know. That's another 4,000 people on their way. And this is happening every day, right? 7 million in the last 2 years. It's disheartening, man. I feel bad for all the people who are coming here with high expectations. They're going to get let. I don't know what their reaction is going to be when they figure out that, you know, we got problems getting our own people employed. We got problems with our own people keep staying employed in this country and putting roofs over the head and food and shelter for our own citizens. There's no way the welfare system can handle this kind of pressure. But you do this on purpose. You do this on purpose. This is calculated. 100%. They want this to happen. Joe Biden told Black community members back in 2021, y'all better get used to having them around and having to vote with the Hispanic population, because very soon there will be more of you than them. You guys remember that? He was extremely clear with this message. Right before he took office, there was a Zoom call that was recorded where he talked to a bunch of leaders in the Black community. And he said, y'all better learn how to get along with them because there's going to be more of them than you pretty soon. So this is not by accident. Justice for All says, got to go. Heavy travel schedule this week. Spend wisely. Hold your family close. Take them into your home and teach them right. Justice for All, have a good night, man. Thanks for coming by, hanging out. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, it's just disheartening, man. Highway Frog says, mass for 4 months spread on damn near anything, everything. Fuck the news. We need to take control. I just don't know how we do that. What is the solution? You know, we got so many problems. And again, you know, I'm fixated sometimes on the market and AMC, and I kind of lose sight of some of the other things that are going on. And, you know, they're good at distracting us from the issues, the things that are really happening. They do a good job. This is Chip Roy. I believe this is when he's talking about shutting down the government. Let's see what he says. Because this is one guy. There's not a lot of guys I can really root for in Congress just because I feel like 95% of them are snakes. But there are a couple guys out there who I do believe have some serious concerns and are sticking up for their constituents. This guy might be one of them. I could be wrong, but the talk sounds right. It sounds correct, at least.
But let's be very clear. What happened to us? That declaration outlined 27 grievances. I've listed more than that just here. A complete abandonment of the job and the responsibility of the federal government, leaving the state of Texas $10 billion poorer while it tries to do the job the federal government is supposed to do. The American colonists protested because they weren't represented in Parliament. I would suggest right now that the American people, frankly, aren't being well represented in this body.
Hell no.
Because this body is letting the executive branch run over them every bit as much as King George III was doing to the colonists in 1776. You think it's hyperbole? Look at our border. Look at our system of justice. Look at our energy economy. Look at our level of spending. A complete abandonment of our job.
I mean, yeah, right? Chip Roy's preaching. Now, I don't know if he's going to do anything about it, but he's saying that he's going to shut down the government if they don't. Carl J says, throw the T overboard, right? Yeah, it is. It's a repeat of what was going on back in 1776. We're getting no representation anymore. How could we be? They're sending hundreds of billions of dollars monthly to Ukraine. How could they possibly be taking care of their constituents anymore? Just in that fact alone, they should all be out of office. Right? Just for that fact alone. And protecting Ukraine's border over our own southern border is treasonous, in my opinion. Highway Frog says, thank you, Mass, for getting it out. You got it, man. If there's someone out there who's actually trying to do something about it, I will try to help them, right? If they really are trying to fix the situation we find ourselves in right now as patriots, as American citizens who are concerned about the future of the country, I will definitely give them a chance to speak, right? Dominic says, I watch those every day. Nothing happens. I know, man. It's all a show. Yeah, sometimes, right? Sometimes I feel like it is. Again, I don't know what's in any of these guys' hearts, just like I don't know what's in Adam Aaron or anyone in the C-suite of AMC's hearts. I can't read into the depths of their souls. All I know is I believe we're on the right side of history. We're fighting the good fight. And, you know, I want to continue to try to make people aware of what's going on around them, even if they may not see it themselves, right? All right, guys. So I'm going to end it here. It's pretty late. We're running on about 2 hours right now. We got plenty of time to talk about some other things, but I want to just get on here tonight and talk about a couple things that I thought needed to be discussed. I appreciate everybody who came by and hung out with me tonight. Thanks to my mods, Lizzie, who else? Pam, Prometheus. Thank you, guys. I appreciate my mods all the time. Yuka. I'm gonna try to get together. We were gonna do a collab talking about Disney and a couple other stocks, and me and T were gonna go over the proposals. But today was Scout's birthday, so I think they went out tonight. So we'll try to get that up and running next 24, 48 hours. Highway Frog says, I'm Canadian, Mass. Fight for us all. No racial division. Love you all. Yeah, man, 100%. We're all patriots, right? Even if you're Canadian, you're a Canadian patriot, right? You're still my brother. I love that about this platform. There is no racial division in here. I have no idea what almost any of you guys look like. It's the best part of, kind of one of the best parts of doing this is that it's really hard for the we're having these chats, which is awesome, right? They can't use that against us, which I think is really cool. All right, guys, I really truly appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for hanging out. Lucy, thanks, sweetheart. I appreciate you, girl. I see you waving. Dominic, have a good night. Highway Frog, Kevin W, cheers from Canada. Love catching you randomly. Hey, man, I love it when you come by and hang out. Thank you, guys, so much. Everybody have a good night. Jeff Rocha, Badonk, Justice for All. It's Massalorian signing off at 2 hours in. Guys.